Hangout is live. Hey everybody, welcome to March's Q&A for Star Power. I'm Michael, the writer.
And I'm Garth, I'm the artist. And together we make space adventures.
Cosmic space adventure.
Cosmic space adventure. We'll get this line down eventually.
That's right. Cosmic stellar space adventures. Cosmic stellar space adventures. Redundant space cosmic stellar adventure. Every month, we answer questions submitted to us by you, our Patreon patrons, supporting us at the $10 a month and above tiers. Last couple months, we haven't had anybody submitting questions to us, so we've just been rambling on and on for like half an hour, 15 minutes. But this month, we had questions. 7 questions from one very curious patron. So thank you, John, for your very cool questions. We look forward to getting to them this month. So let's get right to it, shall we, Garth?
Yeah, let's do it. What is our first question, Michael?
Question number 1. Can we expect a lot of world expansion with the star slowly coming back together? I can answer half of this question. Yes. Yes, you can expect a lot of world expansion. It is something that Garth and I are very excited to get to. We've discussed it at length lately, right?
Actually, yeah, no, we've talked a lot about it, and lots of cool things are going to be happening within the galaxy in the not too terribly distant future. And that's going to be super cool to get to.
We're going to finally show, spoiler, I guess. If you're watching this, get a little bit of spoiler. In our next storyline, we are finally going to see how bad things really were in the wake of the 8th wormhole invasion. We haven't really seen much of anything of the galaxy past the Millennium Federation. And things are pretty good in the Millennium Federation as far as, sci-fi societies go.
It's pretty utopic.
Yeah. But a utopia is only a utopia if everything else around it is not great. Oh, yes. Things are bad.
Oh, it'll be good. It'll be good. Oh, very exciting to get to that.
It's so good because it's going to be so bad.
Building.
What was that?
Lots of new world building. Yeah.
Oh, so many new worlds. More than we'll ever get to. But we're looking forward to it. So yeah, look forward to a lot of world expansion in the future. But first, we got to get through the mystery of the Zelgux Dynasty. We have to uncover the mystery of the Zelgux Dynasty. Question number 2. This one I'm looking forward to answering because will Bina Din Ailua, that's how I pronounce her name, become a star power? Her and Danica's back and forth is comical, but a great way of developing her character. What were some of the challenges with writing in a plucky, excited character and still making her likable? I think you've done a good job at growing, but maybe not everyone sees it that way. Now, there's something about this question that I'm curious about. Maybe a little confusing. I don't see Bina as a self-insert character for either of us. Do you, Garth?
No, she's really not a self-insertion character. I don't think I was gonna say that we haven't done any self-insertion characters, but that's not actually true. I did draw both Michael and myself into the background of one panel in the comic early on.
That's right. It's issue 2.
Oh, no, don't tell them. I want to see if they can find it.
Spoiler. All right,
so you've narrowed it down. Yes.
Narrowed it down.
We're in issue 2. Go find us and see if you can spot where we are. But it's like way background stuff. So.
Oh yeah, it's super. It's
mostly a thing that I threw in for us to, more than anything else. But largely we haven't done any characters that are what I would normally think of as self-insertion characters. No Mary Sue's to my knowledge, at least none that I think of as such.
Yeah, I would feel like if we were going to be, I don't want to say accused because that makes John sound a little meaner, but I don't think he's being mean at all. I think if we were going to be accused, again, sorry about the wording, of having a self-insert character, I would think it would be a male character. Like isn't that kind of what self-insert is? Like it's me or you projecting ourselves into our work,
Yeah.
like an author avatar. I've heard that as well.
Oh, I like that one. I haven't heard that phrase before, but I like that phrase. That's a good one. That's how I normally that's my understanding of what that kind of what a self-insertion character is. Perhaps there's another meaning out there that I haven't come across, but
yeah, no, I don't.
But I'm glad you liked it, the way we've been developing Bina. She's been an interesting character to roll with, particularly because she's so very much the antithesis of Danica's personality, where Danica is very reserved and quiet. Bina is very outgoing and gregarious, and so it's been very interesting to see the two of them, kind of like build a very odd friendship, such as it is. So I'm glad you like that. That's wonderful to hear.
And I'm glad this question included making her likable, because some people on our Facebook page
are not
kind of found her like a aggressive ass.
Which is, she definitely has her moments of being, well, I mean, all people have their moments of being unlikable, right? Even your best friend, can be a total dick sometimes. And most definitely Bina has had her moments of abrasiveness in the last couple of issues, but that's part of the story, and that's what makes it interesting, is that obviously Bina's not a bad person, right? Nor is Danica, but they're clearly having a conflict between each other, and are slowly, maybe sort of working it out, hopefully.
But the first part of this question, will Bina become a star power? I imagine that means a star-powered Sentinel. We can give this one away.
No. I find it actually very interesting how many of our fans keep asking, because this is a theory I've heard from a couple of people, Bina's going to become, a Sentinel. And Michael and I have been very clear that Danica's the only one, and will only ever be, she is the last star-powered Sentinel. There are no others. There won't be any new ones.
Or is it, Garth? I mean, there was the signal in the network. There are some things I keep from Garth. Wait,
fair point. I haven't read issue 15 yet, so I don't know, actually. Last I knew, there was only the one. Maybe I'm wrong on this one. So.
But I do believe Bina is going to stick around in a more significant fashion after this. She'd been kind of bouncing around Ninth Wormhole and made her appearances in the Search for Black Hole Bill as kind of like a minor character, a kind of recurring, until now unnamed minor character that kind of had some visual gags going back and forth with Danica, kind of, the one who would always appear around a corner and just star power, ah! But now that we're exploring her, and now that we are getting to know her character a lot better, I think I want to keep her around. Maybe not going out on regular expeditions with the Galactic Defense Team, but we'll see more of her around Space Station Sanctuary 6, I think. If she makes it through.
If she survives, dun dun dun.
It may also be a giveaway, so whatever. If you're watching this, you get some spoilers. What can I say? All right. Question number 3. What are some of the challenges with writing a superhero story in space? He wrote it in all caps. Obviously, you get to do a bit of the super thing and a bit of the sci-fi thing. Both have their pros and cons. I can tell you my biggest challenge with writing a superhero story in space is that some people really do expect more hard science than I think. That's not the way I'm trying to say this. some people assume there's going to be more hard science in their than there will be, and when it isn't there, we sometimes get criticized for it. I remember when we were just showing off the first chapter of the Ninth Wormhole 3 years ago. We had people saying to us, I think at Katsucon, where we had the first chapter in comic book form, someone saying that scene where Danica is like leaning over the defense android, and she's peering into the camera going, hey, I'm okay. I'm not dead. We had some people saying to us, excuse me, sound does not work that way in space. You guys are going to have to fix that. You guys are going to get a lot of shit for that. And a couple of people said it to us. I mean, we weren't overwhelmed with it, but like
2 or 3 people of the several thousand we saw that weekend. Right? But it's always the negative shit that sticks with you.
I know, right? So the pressure to do the hard science alongside, oh, she can breathe and shoot lasers in space stuff is sometimes hovering overhead. And oh, excuse me. And I think we were more worried about it earlier on, like in the Ninth Wormhole. That scene in issue 3 where Danica is building up momentum by flying around Zirith to then slingshot herself to intercept the Void Archon ship as it was nearing Sanctuary 6. Some people on Twitter were like, that is not how slingshotting works. Danica should know that, you son of a bitch. Stuff like that. But then I think
they were quite that mean, but
well, that was the tone of the tweet that I saw. Okay. That's just me being
everything's meaner on the internet.
Of course it is. But then I remember at Katsucon that next year when we had gotten the full storyline out in book form, Ninth Wormhole, I think an astronomer came to our table and said, oh, I love what you guys are doing. This is fantastic. And me in my like, oh, I'm always doing something wrong sort of mentality, I said, oh, hey, well, did you mind that we kind of had to fudge the science a little bit for like the slingshotting and like what have you? Please don't think I'm stupid. Stuff like that. This astronomer goes, fun.
There's a distinct break between entertainment and actual fact, obviously, and certainly we do try to not be totally disregard science, because the science is in fact actually very interesting, like the actual science of astronomy and space and all. But it as fascinating as it is, if, for instance, gravity were to get bogged down in the science of astromechanics and orbital mechanics, it would be a very, very different movie. And sometimes you just need to kind of be like, nah, not actually important to the story we're trying to tell. So finding that line can be a little dicey sometimes.
I remember, speaking of gravity, I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think what is that? That YouTube channel, like everything wrong with movie in like X number of minutes. Yeah. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think he read for that, like everything scientifically wrong with it. But at the end, he said, despite all of the scientific misgivings, I really enjoyed the movie. So I'm like, if Neil fucking deGrasse Tyson can list the scientific of a space movie and still say, it was a lot of fun, I really liked it, I'm like, maybe we can take some of the pressure off of our own shoulders and like, you know what, like, and like you said, like, yes, we want to keep our faithful to a lot of the science, because the science is a lot of it is what inspires us, but like, let's get that burden off of our shoulders. I hope Neil deGrasse Tyson checks out Star Power one day. That would be a nice little endorsement.
That would be sweet.
That'd be fantastic. I doubt it'll ever happen, but
I assume he reads comics. He seems like a comic guy.
I think so.
He probably doesn't have a lot of time for comics, admittedly.
No. All right. So it's questions 4 and 5 from John. I'm going to read them both together because maybe let me see. If you could do a crossover hero into Star Power, who would it be? 5, if Danica could... Oh, now I see. if Danica could cross over into another superhero story, which would you do? Fourth wall breaking or not? So I'm guessing no. Question 4 is like, what hero would we want crossed over into our story? I think number 5 is, who would we want Danica to show up in another story?
Oh, that's actually that's an interesting pair of questions, because Star Power has been such a standalone kind of universe, right? Like, that's a big part of it. Right. I mean, obviously hypothetically, right?
I got a couple of answers to this.
All right, go for it.
So, if we could have a crossover hero, if we could put someone into our world, our galaxy, our Star Power, the Millennium Federation, 8th wormhole invasions, all that stuff. One of the Green Lanterns. I would want one of the Green Lanterns to come by. If we were going to do the Star-Powered Sentinels and if we're doing space, old space team, peacekeepers, I'm going to go with the team that inspired me with the idea of the Star-Powered Sentinels, the Green Lanterns. I would probably want Kyle. Hi, Alyssa. It's my wife, everybody. I would probably go with Kyle Rayner.
Don't mind me.
I would probably go with Kyle Rayner. He is my favorite of the Green Lanterns. I think he would.
He was cool. He was the second one, right? The.
No.
Where chronology, or
I'm not really sure of the order. I know there are 4 human green. Well, I don't think Guy Gardner is technically human. I'm messing up. I don't think so. I think he's just one of those like aliens who looks not exactly like a human. I don't know. So there's 4 of them. There's Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Kyle Rayner.
Right.
Hal's the original. John Stewart was the ex-military.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kyle was the artist.
Kyle was the artist who was the last of the Green Lanterns, and Guy Gardner has the bowl cut, or at least he did. I don't think he's got the bowl cut anymore.
He's the one with the anger issues.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if we're gonna have anybody show up in our space, I'm gonna want to be a space Kyle. I think you like Kyle as
no. I mean, I've read the comics where Kyle was the Green Lantern at the time, and I enjoyed them. They were well done. I think I'm gonna go. I don't know which way I'd want this to go, honestly. I don't know if I'd want to see Star Power go into this universe or this character come into our universe, but either way, I think it would be hilarious. And probably if he came into the Millennium Federation, I'd like to see Judge Dredd team up with Star Power.
Oh my god!
just an entire issue of him trying to enforce the law and Danica being like, "No, you can't do it that way." Or Danica trying to protect Megacity, and utterly failing at understanding just how utterly corrupt and ridiculous the place is. And there's something about this that would just be so damn entertaining. I'd love to see that.
I think that's what we're doing when Danica goes out into the larger universe of the galaxy.
A little bit.
Galaxy. Yeah. Christ, listen to me. When she goes out past the final jump gate and goes where the jump gates can't go, she is going to see, I think, at least 1 or 2 worlds like Judge Dredd's terrible sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think...
So we might have that anyway, but I'd still like to see it. I think it would be hilarious.
We just can't actually use Judge Dredd himself.
No, obviously not for, copyright reasons.
If Danica could go into an... I have another answer for somebody coming over to us. I'd like Atomic Robo to show up in the Millennium Federation.
I was actually thinking about that. Actually just even because every now and again, Atomic Robo has his wacky space adventures. They don't go
or time travel.
Yeah, or time travel. Sometimes both. Or no, he's yet to go back in time to the outer space. So yet.
Back in time to outer space?
Yes, I don't think he's done that yet.
Oy.
Brian, you know what you need to do for the next volume now.
He's gone back in time.
And he has gone to outer space, but I do like the idea of like Atomic Robo, fighting, I don't know, moon worm monsters, or worm monsters on the moon, I suppose. One of those wacky things that he does.
Yeah, it would totally work.
Giant bugs on the moon, that sounds Atomic Robo. And then, just have Danica show up randomly and then like fly off again. Like even that, I'd be like, nah, I'd
Crossover.
down with
I
that.
want a full crossover with those two. Either Danica goes back in time, or Atomic Robo goes way into the future and into the Millennium Federation. Ideally. But for Danica to go into another superhero story, oh, without a question, I would have her go into a classic Superman story. With the red shorts on the outside. When I say classic Superman, I mean like red shorts on the outside, no collar, the classic, beloved Christopher Reeve-esque Superman, the kind that really got me loving Superman as like my favorite superhero. Because I'm a big Superman fan, and no other reason. I don't care if it would be an odd fit or not. Superman can go into space, travel through time.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I guess it could work.
Or Danica just shows up on Earth in the past, in the DC universe. I don't give a fuck. I wanted to see her next to Superman. We're doing ideal crossovers without paperwork or copyright getting in the way. Superman. She's going to Metropolis somehow, and that's my fanboy fantasy, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No, I could be down with that. That'd be cool. I like it.
Well, fourth wall breaking or not, I'm pretty sure John wanted one of us to say Deadpool.
That would be funny.
Love Deadpool.
But that would be funny, but only because Deadpool is funny with literally any other character. I think that's just a thing,
Okay. If you had question number 6, I like this one. If you had to pick one important message, and there are a ton, that's what storytelling is all about. You had to pick one important message that you hoped to convey to your readers, what would it be? One important message. Well, I know my answer is.
All right, then you answer, because
well, maybe I can aim you kind of in this direction. One important message I try to convey in Star Power is to give love and compassion a try. Sympathy, empathy. Well, give love and compassion a try, and I think we've done that numerous times in Star Power. In the 9th Wormhole, Danica does not want to fight the Countess. Like, she says, like, you're the last. Like, I think I figured out. You're the last one. We don't have to fight. Come in, like, we can help you. Just call off your robots. We can spare your robots, for God's sake. She's compassionate towards the robots, but Danica names everything, so I'm sure she was naming those robots as they were going. But she said, like, come with us. Let us help you. She was a little less compassionate toward Black Hole Bill in the search for Black Hole Bill, but she was very, very compassionate towards her teammates. Giving Grex the pep talk after Dorothunden's death at the hands of Black Hole Bill. With Shilalis when she was working out her crush with Shulato. Here in the Mystery of the Zelgux Dynasty, Danica usually trying to avoid conflict, even though she can blast most things into oblivion, except for the Countess's Legionnaire robots. They can withstand her laser blasts, but not her sword. But even then, she doesn't really want to do that. With everything with the Zelgux Dynasty, it's been like, let's not get into a fight, even though you may want to fight me. Can we try to talk about this if it's possible? When the Infinite King drew his weapon on her and says, "You're going to fight me?" When the statues were attacking her on Rokos, she's like, "Don't hit them! They're relics! Jesus!" Give love and compassion a try. It may not be a message we're always hitting people over the head with, But it's something I try to keep very much a theme if I'm writing superheroes. And I am writing a superhero. Still thinking, Garth?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh man, because I mean, I'm going back through all the stories that I've worked on, or whether they're things that I actually put out there into the public space, like Finders Keepers, or things that I'm still working on in the back of my head, or things I've long since abandoned because I was in high school and those things should be left abandoned. I'm going back and I'm thinking, like, was there ever like a common theme? Like, was there ever like a thing that I came back to time and time and time again? And the only thing I can really think of, and I don't even know that this is a proper theme, for like a story, but it's at least a common thematic element, I guess, in my works, is that change within the story, within the larger world of whatever story I'm telling, begins and in many ways ends with the actions of a single person, right? It's not the stories I tell tend to be very much about how one person's actions can and do affect the world at large, and I guess the power of individuality, if that makes sense. Which is not really a theme, which is not really like a moral or like anything like that, but like it's the only common element I can think of right now. And I suppose from that you can derive a lot of the common things of be yourself and stay true to your principles, et cetera, all those good things. But don't underestimate one man, because one man topples societies, that kind of shit. Though you know what, that happens in like every or nearly every post-apocalyptic story, at least the ones in Hollywood, right? Like the world is awful, it's dystopian future. One person goes, no, fuck this, flips the table on everybody, society collapses. Hero feels good about having like undone the evil thing, even though now the world is arguably worse. Roll credits. Just once I'd like to see the story start with after they've the hero has ruined the dystopian society, and like where they go from there. Just once I'd like to see that. What do you do after society collapses?
Well, it was easy to tear down the bad shit. Now what are you going to replace it with? Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Well, first I will become the governor of the world. Yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah. Sorry, that got weird.
No, that's fine. It's a deep question. Like, what is like, if you had to pick one important message that you hope to convey to your readers, I mean, that's deep. That's like something to dwell on. Like, that's something to like really sit back and like reflect on yourself. Like, what have I been telling people?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that you only really get to know after you've been, telling stories for 50 years and you have a body of work that you actually, I don't think that's even a thing that you can tell people. I think that's something that's reserved for critics to tell you. It's like, this is what you've been telling people all these years. Like,
or like you see in our case, because we get to, because of all the conventions that we do, we get to see what people are taking away from our work face to face. People who come to us anyway. So like so far we haven't had anybody come, at least in my experience, like doing Dominic Deegan for 11 years prior to the 3 years now we've been doing Star Power. I've never had anybody come up and like really take away the wrong message that I've been trying to give. Like they haven't been inspired to do terrible shit to other people, which was always my biggest worry. Like, no, I didn't tell you to do that. That's the bad guy. That's behavior you're not supposed to emulate. I get it. You like villains and stories, but like, that doesn't mean you should have done that. That's never happened to me. I've had people misunderstand where I'm going with a story. But I can count on one hand how many of those people have come up to me to tell me to my face. I'm sure on the internet somewhere nowadays, there's message boards where people are saying bad shit about us, but I don't seek that shit out. It doesn't help in the slightest. You know, I'm not gonna go out and read an open letter to me. Because that's not meant for me. That's meant for everyone to see what a clever.
No one that the open letter is ever addressed to actually reads the open letter.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You ever notice that? Like people post an open letter to so and so who's such and such company, such and such famous person that has offended, wronged me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't actually read those.
Yeah, but everybody else does.
Everyone else does. Yeah.
But anyway. So maybe but no, I'm confident now with Dominic Deegan having ended. Now that it is a complete story, I think I've conveyed. Damn, this is a deep question.
I think we can answer it about as well as we can at this.
I know. I don't know how to let it go either. Like, because there's always like there's some more I want to come back to, but then I don't know if I'm staying on topic or.
Ask us again in 30 years.
Ask us again tomorrow. We'll probably be equally confused, or have a completely different answer. But in terms of star power, I think we've stayed pretty much on track with the give love and compassion a try. I think we have anyway. All right. Question number 7. All right. This is actually a bit something we discussed at Anime Boston. When Q&A questions are low, any chance we could see some cool ride-along shorts of the star power process? Maybe some of the discussion process on scripting star power, or maybe some of Garth's warm-up sketches. Obviously, this might be hard or impossible to do, but I figured I'd throw it out there as an idea. I'd love to see some of the process behind the comic. We were just talking about, in the changes to the Patreon, you showing off some of your warm-up sketches and doing some live streaming of doing actual panels, right, Garth?
Yeah, no. Which reminds me, I need to talk to that lady.
Yeah, she emailed us, didn't she?
Yes, I know. We've been awful, and I haven't emailed her back. But yeah, no. So we are going to start posting my warm-up sketches. I'm unlike every artist ever who's like, yeah, no, I do 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever of doodles before I get into the real work. More often than not, I cold start my day. I'd be like, nope, I've got comics to draw. Gonna warm up drawing comics. Which is not a good practice, incidentally. Don't do that. Warm-up sketches are good. They're important. And I'm trying to get into the habit of doing more of those. And so we will be starting to post those. And they're very random and mostly not star power related. Yeah, so we will be starting to post those to our Patreon feed. I have been doing some like live streaming process kinds of stuff, though fairly infrequently. And I think we're going to try and make that a more regular thing and try to get that integrated into our Patreon more, tighter. So that because right now it's like if you don't catch me live, it doesn't exist. So that's like a 2-hour window of whenever the hell I feel like it. So it's rare that you'll catch me going through that. But I think we're going to try and start, like recording those and keeping those archived for our patrons. So more cool stuff coming down the pipe for you guys. Um, uh, I know that a lot of people have asked me over the years for like tutorial kinds of stuff, and I'm I've I've been like, yeah, no, I should totally do that, because I do very brief tutorials at conventions and whatnot, but I've never actually managed to sit down and gather my thoughts coherently enough to break that down into a series of usable tutorials. It would mostly be me rambling about, so this is what you do here, the very Bob Rossy kind of way, but louder than Bob Ross. I don't know that I can whisper like him. I don't know that anyone can whisper like Bob Ross. Like. So what you want to do is you want to have your 10%, soft airbrush. Come over here. We'll make a nice little selection, and that'll be our highlight. It'll be a good highlight. Take this nice warm orange color. Oh, that's a nice color. Yeah.
See,
so I don't know if it's gonna be like.
You can totally do it. You can do that for an hour, I think, right?
Yeah, but then I'll get excited. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that looks great," and that'll really ruin the whole thing.
They would be turning up their volume to catch your whispers. So we want 10% airbrush here. Very nice, good line. And let's see what happens if we try this. Fuck yes!
Actually, I might do that now just because this entertains me greatly.
Oh, you mean motherfucker!
No, I'll give you a warning. Anytime I zoom out, it'll get loud.
But yeah, I think we could also do maybe some more insight onto how we actually go back and forth. I don't think we'll do script writing, because we talk about script stuff way ahead of time. So we talk about story elements that are months in the future, because I have to have the scripts ready.
Hell, we've talked about plot points that are years in the future.
Oh yeah.
Like, we've talked about shit that we're not even planning on even really starting on for like 2 more years.
Yeah. So, like, in order for you guys to get in on our script writing discussions, it would be pretty spoilerific. A lot of people like spoilers. We don't like giving away a lot of spoilers. We want you to be in the moment. We want to hear your surprise, your honest reactions. Also, ideas just change over time. So, like,
there'd be a lot of stuff that that would be suddenly dropped, and you'd be like, "Wait, weren't you doing this thing?" Or like, "No, I didn't like that thing after all."
Oh yeah, Garth and I had a huge discussion when we were at the Webcomics Rampage. I think in September, October.
I think it was.
Yeah, we had a huge discussion about the fate of 2 characters and where we wanted to go with it. And you and we talked at length about how this arc would develop over numerous storylines, how this eventually how it would arc and peak and come crashing down, and like, oh, it would be this great dramatic moment. And I nixed this issue.
You did. And I was like, we're doing this now? What happened here? And
in a totally different way too. Like, yeah. We must have talked about this for an hour.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So I feel like you guys maybe getting in on a conversation like that, where Garth and I are really, really into this one idea, or like I'm really into an idea and Garth kind of isn't, but then I have to explain to him, like, no, Garth, if we try this is what we can do over the course of this, and we come up with this thing that sounds really, really great. And then when I sit down to write the script itself, I get a better idea, and it's just all out the window. Which Garth
didn't need it. All that work didn't need it at all.
No, we didn't, because it gets nixed in this issue. What it would be can be what I'm nixing. Can certainly be a question for April's Q&A, because we're going to get to it by then. We're going to get to the end of the issue by then. Maybe you guys can wonder, like, well, what was planned? What? Huh? What did you get rid of? I don't get it. Hint, hint. But, so yeah, so I feel like it would be not only spoilerific, but I feel like it would be kind of a disservice to you guys to see, like, us getting, like, so into a story idea, so into a story element, and make it sound like this is something we're going to pursue for, like, years. And then we think, oh wait, we were just kind of stuck in the moment. This doesn't really work. This works a lot better. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So I don't think we'll do script session sneak peeks. The stuff where Garth is drawing the panels, Garth is drawing the comic. In some cases, I've posted the entire script for issue 13. That I think we might get into more of. Because Garth, you got sick. We weren't able to do the big, huge buffers of pages for our $5 $5 a month and higher patrons. So in order to make up for a lack of a visual sneak peek ahead of time, I posted the script to the Patreon. So you can scroll down the feed, you can download that, you can see how I communicate my ideas to Garth and how much of them and how they're translated, how Garth translates them into panels. So we might do that as far as a further peeks behind the scenes. But future stuff, those are our secrets. Or take them with us to the grave, or at least until we get to that storyline. Anything else to add, Garth, or did I ramble?
No, I think you answered that pretty thoroughly there.
And those are John's 7 questions. Very good ones.
Yeah, no,
I really enjoyed those. Any of them you want to go back and touch on again, Garth, before we call this a Q&A?
No, I think we covered all of them pretty thoroughly.
Yeah?
I think so. Unless there's anything that, you're like, no, I want to go back and change my answer.
No, I would just add.
I'm not ready to put the test down.
I would, if I was given time to dwell, and hell, I do have time to dwell. It's our Q&A. And these hangouts record for what, 8 hours or something like that?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I mean, magic comics ink, dude. Can't be here that long.
Oh man, I could speculate all day on questions 4 and 5 about what superheroes we'd want in the Millennium Federation or where we would want Danica to go.
Right.
Oh, I could do that like all night if I was given. Well, we do have the opportunity, but I don't want to do this all night. I got to eat dinner and I got to put my little boy to bed in about 15 minutes or so. I don't think Danica would fit in Batman. That's for sure.
No, I don't think that would work well. That'd be like, I mean, I know Batman and Green Lantern have teamed up, but like, even that always seemed like kind of a weird combo to me.
Yeah, that's like, I think Green Lantern's got you beat, Batman.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like if we're being like realistic here, as realistic as one can get in superhero comics anyway, everyone's got Batman beats, right? Like, let's be fair. Batman is a rich boy with daddy issues, and mommy issues, parental issues. He's just got issues.
He's got a lot of issues. Dressed up as a bat.
But that's what happens when you've been around for 60
Oh, no.
years now, 70 years.
Oh,
God,
well,
how long has Batman been the title?
Batman's late 30s, I think.
Yeah. So okay. So like
super early 40s. I can't remember. I know Superman's the 30s. Batman was not far after. Far.
No,
off.
no. They quickly came one after the other. Yeah. So I mean, for an octogenarian, he's doing pretty well. But he's still a rich guy with issues who, manages to like beat up people in the streets. So like every other superhero has to beat one way or the other if we're being realistic. Batman wins because, he's Batman and,
Which is saying something about the strength of that character. Really.
Yeah, no, absolutely, right? Like there's a reason that Batman is so very, very popular, right? That that universe strikes a very strong chord with people for a reason, right? He's a great character. I'm not knocking Batman, right? But like, if you're talking but it's one of those things that like literally in any like who would win, Batman or whatever, which is incidentally one of the dumbest arguments to ever have in comics. Like seriously, really, why would two heroes fight each other? Like
Unless one's been brainwashed.
well, right, that's usually the case, right? Is that someone's gone and like tampered with them or lied to them or something or other, right? Usually it's brainwashing. That seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Or they're like evil clones or something or other. But like but still, regardless, in that kind of competition, right? The only way that Batman wins is if people get into these elaborate, well, he planned for this one eventuality, and so he's got a system in place. And I'm like, well, okay, that's fine, but that is literally the only way that works. Which is fine, right? That's part of his charm, is that he's got it planned out. He's Sherlock Holmes that punches people. Right? Doesn't that sound kind of cool?
Yeah, it does sound kind of cool. Wasn't that Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock movie a few years ago?
More or less, actually. I actually really like those. I like those sequences. There were actually a couple of sequences in that film where it's an internal monologue where like he plans out how he's going to beat the guy in fisticuffs, and then he does beat the guy in fisticuffs. Yeah, and it's like there are these elaborate it'll be a left hook that it throws him off balance, so then he can use them. And I mean 12-step process, right? But
it's like chess with fists.
Pretty much, yeah. And it actually made fisticuffs incredibly enjoyable as a sequence, which is not something I would normally have said.
Wow. Very surprising coming from you.
Yeah, no, worthwhile watching. Certainly the first one. Second one, I don't think was as strong.
Okay.
Good, but not as perfectly strong. But we're starting to get kind of off topic here.
Right. Adam Strange. You know Adam Strange?
I was never really I never got super familiar with he's part of Marvel's Mystic,
No, Adam Strange is DC. He's you're thinking of Adam Warlock.
Oh, the other Adam, Matt.
No, Adam Warlock is Marvel, and he was a golden-skinned, I think, celestial being, really heavily involved in the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't think we're going to see him in the Marvel universe, which is a shame because I like Adam Warlock. No, Adam Strange is a I don't know what he's in the current continuity, but classically he was a man transported to the planet Rann, Rann, and he was given like a jetpack, classic helmet with the face mask and like a fin.
Oh, him.
Gun. Oh. And I think he gets beamed around by the Zeta beam. I think that's what it's called. I'm not, but he's a classic sort of ray gun superhero he doesn't have any powers, but he's a plucky space hero with a zapper gun and his fisticuffs sort of ray gun brawling wit.
You know who I'd like to see teamed up is I'd like to see Booster Gold.
Oh!
Instead of going back in time, right? Because he steals he steals the suit from where he lives in the future, and he's just a guy, right? And he goes back in time, and his crazy suit, from the future, which is pretty normal at that point, makes him incredibly awesome in the past, right? But instead of going back in time, he he crosses over into the Millennium Federation thing, and I think that would be an amazing team up. I'd like to see that.
Oh. Warner Brothers, DC, do you hear us? We can make this work. It'd be fun. You hear me? It would be fun. Christ.
Yeah. Or
hell, Starfire. Nowadays.
Yeah.
Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, who we got to meet at Dragon Con, and they were so nice. Oh my God. They're writing Starfire now, and it's good. She's a fun character again.
Neat.
Yeah,
I keep meaning to check out that run. Yeah,
it's good.
I've always liked the character, or at least I've always liked the character since Teen Titans.
She's back.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out.
I think I remember someone. I think maybe even he told us this. he either told me this at Dragon Con or I heard it. I forget. But that whole like New 52 reboot they did of Starfire, where she was terrible and just was like emotionally empty. Like,
yeah.
He wanted to be like, can we just forget that happened? Can we just start over? And they were like, no, you got to work through it. And he's like, all right, fine. But he did recognize that was a bad choice.
Right.
And is working towards making her fun again. And the new series is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get Starfire in space over to the Millennium Federation. Have Princess Coriander, I think that's her name, hang out with Danica.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a three-way. Shit. I was gonna say her and Starfire and Booster Gold. That'll be our adults only Patreon fee. Damn it. Oh man. All right, we're gonna spend all night
put it out there. Someone will draw it or will want to draw it. It's a thing.
Oh brother. We'll see it somehow, I'm sure. Oh brother. All right, well we can speculate all night on where Danica should go in a crossover, who should come to the Millennium Federation, but we are about out of time. Real life is tugging like it does. I hear my little boy watching Robin Hood downstairs and loving it. So it's almost his bedtime. So I got to go down there and help the wifey attend to the little guy. But thank you guys so much once again. Thank you, John, very much for your 7 wonderful questions. Really, really appreciate it. Always a blast to answer questions from our patrons. If you would like to submit questions to us, one, you got to be a patron on our Patreon campaign at the $10 a month or above tier, and just post your questions in the thread that we will post. I'll post the Q&A thread for April after we're done with this. So thank you guys again. This is super fun. I'm Michael, the writer.
I'm Garth, the artist. You can find us online at starpowercomic.com. Thank you guys once again for supporting us.
Thank you once again. Have a good night.